Every now and then, a single sentence comes along that just perfectly nails a massive shift in technology. Well, today, we're going to break one of those down. It's a prediction about what will power the next huge leap in robotics. So, let's dive right in.
Okay, here it is. Now, at first glance, this might just look like another one of those tech predictions, right? But trust me, every single word here was chosen very, very carefully. This isn't just about building cooler robots. It's about getting to the heart of what's going to make them truly, well, intelligent. So, what does this prediction actually mean? Our whole goal here is to pull this sentence apart, piece by piece, so we can really get our heads around the massive shift it's talking about. And we're going to start with that first big idea, the next frontier.
All right, first things first, what do we even mean by the next frontier of robotics? Because look, before we can even begin to talk about the fuel, we've got to know where we're headed, right? We need to understand the destination.
The easiest way to think about it is like this. A frontier is kind of like the edge of the known map. Right now in robotics, we have these incredible machines that can do very specific, pre-programmed tasks, and they do them perfectly. But the next frontier, that's all about building robots that can learn on the fly, adapt to new situations, and operate intelligently in our messy, chaotic, and totally unpredictable real world. And to get across that barrier, well, they're going to need something absolutely essential.
And that right there brings us to the absolute core metaphor of this whole prediction: fuel. So what is this high-octane gasoline that's supposedly going to power these machines across that frontier? What are we talking about?
Honestly, this analogy just makes it crystal clear. Think about it. You can have the most sophisticated, powerful, state-of-the-art robot hardware in the entire world. I mean, a beautiful, complex engine. But if you don't have data, it's just a really, really expensive paperweight. It's not going anywhere. See, data is the experience. It's the information, the context. It's everything a robot needs to actually understand and interact with the world around it. It is the fuel.
Okay, but this is where we get to the real heart of the argument. Because the prediction wasn't just about data. No, it was super specific. It zeroed in on one single word that, honestly, changes the entire game.
And that one word is quality. This right here is the absolute key to everything. See, it's not enough to just have data. Any old data won't work. It has to be quality data. I mean, think about it. You wouldn't pour dirty, contaminated gasoline into a brand new Ferrari, right? It would wreck the engine. Well, it's the exact same idea for robotics.
So the most important thing here is to really understand the difference. On the one hand, you have standard data. It's raw, it's chaotic, it's noisy. For a robot, that's like blurry camera footage or just a mess of jumbled sensor readings. Imagine trying to learn a language by listening to 1,000 different radio stations all at once. It's impossible. But quality data? That's a different story. That's clean, it's structured, it's relevant. It's that crystal clear image with a perfect label that says, hey, this is a stop sign. It's that clean stream of sensor data that tells you the exact path a pedestrian is walking. One leads to garbage results. The other, that enables precise, intelligent action.
Okay, great. So if quality data is the special fuel we need, where do we get it? I mean, this stuff isn't just lying around on the ground, right? You have to actually create it. And that, my friends, is where the final piece of this prediction clicks into place. We need to build an infrastructure.
We all know what infrastructure is, right? It's the stuff we don't always see, but that makes modern life possible. You know, the roads, the power grids, the internet itself. Well, a data infrastructure is the exact same concept, but for information. It is the whole system, the entire pipeline, that's built specifically to take all that raw, messy data and refine it into the premium, high-quality fuel that our future robots are absolutely going to depend on.
And this pipeline here shows you exactly how that works. It all starts with a foundation, right? You have to gather up all the raw data, all that messy camera footage and sensor input. Then comes the most important part, the processing. This is where you refine it, you clean it up, and you turn it into that structured quality data. You know, labeling the stop signs, tracking the pedestrians. After that, you've got to build the systems to deliver that fuel efficiently to the robot's brain, its learning models. And then finally, boom, that refined fuel activates the machine and gives it what it needs to cross into that next frontier.
All right, so let's put all these pieces back together. We've talked about the frontier, we've talked about the fuel, we've hammered home the importance of quality, and we've talked about the infrastructure needed to create it. So, what does that original prediction sound like to us now?
It's different now, isn't it? Every single word in that sentence suddenly has so much more weight, so much more meaning. It's not just some random prediction anymore, it's a blueprint. It's making the case that the future of robotics isn't actually about building better robots. It's about building the system that feeds them.
So look, if you take away just one thing from all of this, let it be these 3 key ideas. First, the biggest hurdle for robotics is shifting away from hardware and over to data. Second, the real value isn't just having data, it's all about the quality of that data. And finally, building the infrastructure to create and deliver that quality data, that's the real foundational work for this whole next technological revolution.
And all of this leaves us with one last and, I think, really big question to chew on. We've all heard that phrase, data is the new oil. Well, if quality data is the refined, high-octane fuel of the future, then who gets to own the refinery? Who controls the systems that create it? That's a question we're all going to be watching the answer to unfold.